Hello and welcome to our RLCS predictions video for EU event open number 5. Let's jump right into it. In Group A, we've got Dignitas versus Fast Forward. That, just as a reminder for everybody here, myself included, Dignitas is Stizzy, apparently Jack, and Jorius, and Fast Forward is Edgeby, Mike Boy, and Growly. I think that Dignitas gets the win, but they probably get one loss somewhere in here. I think the Fast Forward team, definitely not a easy layup for any team. You know, there's talent on that roster. So I think we'll see a 3-1 there. Then we've got Smoky Bacon versus BSK. Smoky Bacon, as a reminder, is Smokes, Metane, and Compact. BSK is Rust, EZ95, Mozzarella, and Pisky. What a name. I think I like Smoky Bacon here based on results. If we look at it, though, BSK only lost to Dignitas in their Swiss. They beat 3 other teams. And then Smoky Bacon only lost to Vitality and beat 3 other teams. Interesting. So both these teams lost to a top 3 team or top 4 team. I guess maybe top 5. Depends on who you ask. But I'm going to give the edge to Smoky Bacon and say it's probably close. I think either one of these teams could take this, so not too confident in my pick one way or another. Now, we've got Ninjas in Pajamas versus Synergy. Ninjas in Pajamas is Itachi, Nas, and Oski. Synergy is going to be AJG, Dorito, and Rizex. I do think Ninjas is going to come out and show us a little bit more during this event. I think they have a lot to work with. Now, interestingly here, we have Carmine Core and 100%. Now, Carmine Core actually lost in the Swiss to GK. You can see it was a 3-1. And if you watch that match, really Carmine did not play anything like their usual self. And I don't know if that's because GK's playstyle forces Carmine out of their playstyle, but if you watch that, like if you took the name tags off Carmine Core, I'd be like, yeah, there's no way this team is Carmine Core, because Carmine Core don't play like this. They don't miss these type of shots. There's a lot of mistakes, a lot of issues, so I'm thinking they're gonna want their revenge back for going in as the 3rd seed of Group A. Anyways, as a reminder, Carmine Core is Vatira, Atto, and Drally. 100% is Louis P, Acro, and Rezi. Another quality team, kind of a bubble team. Hasn't had too strong of a performance recently, but had a very strong start of the season. 3-0. Carmine Core continues their dominance against any team that's not GK, and then I still think they beat GK 7 or 8 times out of 10 matches in a row. Now, let's stay in the uppers here. Dignitas, Smoky Bacon. I do think Dignitas clinched through here. They perform very well in Swiss. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a complete sweep also. Yeah, this is interesting. Ninjas and Carmine. I think I have to pick Carmine here and push Ninjas lower, even though traditionally we have seen 1 or 2 instances of the Ninjas in Pajamas beating Carmine Core. But I think that's an unlucky draw for Ninjas to have to play Carmine Core as the 2nd team. So in the lowers, that puts Forward and BSK. I do think Forward is probably the better of these 2 teams. So I'm going to put that as a 3-1. But it would be cool to see Team BSK do something. These are a bunch of up-and-coming younger players. I think I've seen a lot of buzz around Rust EZ95. If you know the origin of why he uses that username, let me know. I'm kind of curious about it, because I don't think he was born in 1995 if he's a new rookie RLCS player. I think the 90s babies, our time is over. I think we have moved into Unk status in Rocket League Pro scene. Anyways, Synergy 100%. AJG, Dorito, Rizex versus Louis P, Acro, Rezi. This is tough because Synergy's been playing better lately and 100%'s been playing a little bit worse lately. I still think I like 100% better, though, to be honest. But let's just take a quick look. How did Synergy do? So they got swept by Carmine. They did beat the new BDS team. And then they lost to Dopamine, which is K-Dop's team, I'm pretty sure. So they lost to quality teams. What about 100%? 100% lost to Vitality and Caliente. Interesting. But they beat Forward. And they beat Dangerous Esports. I think this could be close. I'm going to pick 100%. I just think they're a little bit better. But Synergy had a good showing last tournament. So if they do well, I'm not super surprised either. Now let's look about who qualifies to the lowers. I do think Ninjas gets the win here. I think they beat Forward. If Carmine drops here, I'm positive they beat Forward as well. So that is that. Although Forward does have Mike Boy, which is he's kind of had an iconic career of derailing either Vatira or Carmine Core. He seems to be their Achilles heel. He always does well against them, and they seem to play poor against him. So maybe Carmine goes here and then gets bounced out by Fast Forward. That would be a crazy take, but I don't think that's going to happen. Smokes, Methane, Compact on Smoky Bacon versus 100%. I think I have to still give it to 100% kind of there, although I don't love this. I don't feel like these are obvious picks, unfortunately. So Dignitas, Carmine Core, Ninjas and Pajamas, 100%. Not a very controversial bracket. I think I pretty much picked the favorite. Minus maybe Synergy. People might put Synergy over 100% here and have them qualifying through. So if you feel that way, let me know, and let me know why you feel that way. Group B. Vitality, Brobrito. As a reminder, Vitality is the former world champs, Monkey Moon and Exotic, with Zen, some guy you might have heard of, against Brobrito, who are Smashy, Emil Vald, and Davoof. I do think this is going to be a sweep for Vitality. I don't think Brobrito is going to do anything too crazy to surprise us here. Dopamine, Caliente. Let's find Dopamine. That is K-Dop, Astral, and RizFox. So kind of a OG squad, if you want to call it that. A lot of very established players with long careers who are playing mostly for fun. Kind of like the NA equivalent to Garrett, AJ, and Squishy playing together, but arguably K-Dop is a GOAT. Maybe top 3 GOATs of Rocket League, depending on your takes. He's a little bit above some of the other NA talent I mentioned. But anyways, Dopamine, K-Dop, Astral, RizFox, Caliente, Saizen, Noasaki, Charlie B. I do like Dopamine here, actually, over Caliente. So I think I'm going to 3-1, put them above there. GK versus Chippy Chips. GK is Archie Joyo Oli. I just think they're on a hot streak, so I'm going to give them the win here. No offense to Chippy Chips. Chippy Chips is Lhasa, Chippy, and Jupe. Good team. I don't think they're going to get a game off of GK, but we will see. How was their Swiss? Yeah, they got swept by Vitality. They got swept by Smoky Bacon, and they beat 3 teams that didn't qualify. Yeah, I don't think Chippy Chips is going to do anything too crazy. Now let's talk about Gentlemates, which is Seiko, Juicy, and Eugen with $ATM. I don't know if you say the $sign. Acronic, Tempo, or Matt. 3 really interesting players, 3 talented players. Honestly, if I had to say there was an equivalent, this is like the boys in NA. But sorry, EU is its own thing. I'm not trying to keep comparing it to NA. It's just interesting how there does seem to be some parallels, at least in my opinion. So Acronic, Tempo, Matt. I do think Gentlemates is a better starting team, but it's very possible they drop a game here, which then leaves Vitality, Dopamine, GK, and Gentlemates in the uppers. I do think Vitality 3-1 Dopamine. I think Dopamine have the ability to take a game off Vitality, especially if Vitality doesn't come out 100% doing amazing. So that's my take there. GK, Gentlemates. This is kind of an interesting one. I do think that GK is the better team for results right now, but I could see this being close. I could definitely see a world where Gentlemates come out and beat GK. I just think realistically, GK, based on their performances, beating K Corp, they have the peak to win an Open in EU, which is very impressive, as they did in Open number 3. So I think GK. I retire as a GK doubter. I basically spent this whole season doubting them, and they've proven me wrong in recent history. So my time as a GK doubter has been officially ended, and now I am a GK believer. I believe they can do great things. I've seen it with my own eyes. So I have been converted. Vitality GK on the uppers. That puts Babrito, Caliente, Chippy Chips, and ATM in the lowers. Now, Babrito, we've got Smashy, Miovald, and Devoof versus Caliente, Saizen, Noasaki, Charlie B. I do believe Caliente is the better team with more experience in this type of situations. So I expect Caliente to 3-1 Babrito there. Chippy Chips is Lassa, Chippy, and Jupe with ATM, a Chronic Tempo, Matt. I do think a Chronic Tempo Matt is a better team, but I don't expect them to do incredible things. No offense to them. Gentlemates Caliente. I do think Gentlemates gets the win here over Caliente. And I think that I will predict a sweep. I need to pick a couple more controversial picks. I think Gentlemates sweeps Caliente. Maybe that's not controversial. You let me know. Dopamine versus ATM. A Chronic Tempo Matt versus KDOP Astral Rizfox. I think I like Dopamine here, honestly. But I'm going to give myself a cop-out and make it a 3-2 because it's possible that ATM wins here. But I'll go with Vitality, GK, Gentlemates, Dopamine. So that'll be all of that for group stage. Let's talk finals. Shout out to Cody VRL for making this so aesthetic. He could just put the team name here and not put the logo, the coloring, all that. But he goes out of his way to make sure all the teams have really cool looking designs for their team, their logos. So shout out to him for doing that. If you want to get your own bracket to do this, make sure you go to x.com/CodyVRL and check out the brackets. Now, let's talk lower round 1. Ninjas versus Dopamine. I do believe Ninjas is going to beat Dopamine in a best of 7 pretty much every single time they play. Itachi Nas Oski versus KDOP Astral Rizfox. I like Ninjas here. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's a sweep. Actually, I'm going to predict a sweep. I think we've been seeing a lot of sweeps in the quarterfinal lower round 1 stages. Gentlemates 100%. I do like Gentlemates here. Between them and 100%, I think 100% is kind of embraced their bubble role where they don't seem to be making any deep runs anymore. I believe in Open 1 or Open 2, they had a top 4 for one of the Opens. I could be wrong about that. They came out really strong, and it looked like they might be the 4th best team in the EU, but I think they've kind of unfortunately solidified their place a little bit lower than that. So I think we're going to see Gentlemates come up. I think Eugen's on a really nice roll. I'll put a 4-2 for Gentlemates. Dignitas GK. This is an interesting one. They both had really strong Swisses. Dignitas maybe not as much. Beat BSK, beat Babrito, Bandito, and beat Dopamine. So 3 teams that qualified, they beat. And then we've got GK. Sorry, GK was right there. They beat Namster, they beat ATM, and they beat K-Core. I do think it's time we go to Game 7. And I think GK probably wins that Game 7 because Dignitas seems to struggle with closing out their Game 7s. I don't know. Could just be totally my own mental bias, but this is how I'm remembering it. Vitality, Carmine Corp. Thank God, Cinema. This would be a great match. I do think K-Corp still has the edge here, but I think it's closer. So we're going to do 4-2 for Carmine Corp. Wow, what a stacked Open 5 we are going to see if my predictions are close to correct. Now, Dignitas, Ninjas. This one's tricky. I don't know. Dignitas versus Ninjas. Now that is interesting because Ninjas definitely have the ability to beat Dignitas. Dignitas definitely have the ability to beat Ninjas. Wow, this one's really stumping me. I wish I could have a crystal ball to predict this one. It really feels like it could go either way. I think I'm going to give the edge to Dignitas, but I don't love it. I'm not in love with that pick. But I think based on consistency, we're going to see Dignitas top 4. I could be wrong about that. Oh, what do you guys think about that one? I'm really on the fence. I could also really see Ninjas going through right there. I'm reversing my pick. Ninjas in 7. I'm reversing my pick. We'll see if I regret that later. Vitality, Gentlemates. I do think Vitality is a stronger team right now. Gentlemates has a lot to gain, but I'm going to make it close. I'm going to say 4-3. I think that's a close game, and I think Gentlemates is going to do well. I think Eugen's going to really step up to the challenge in this event and really show some skills. So unfortunately, I have them going out top 6, but I think that's a good result for that roster based on previous results. Now, top 4, Carmine, Ninjas, GK, Vitality. Practically looking like a LAN event. These are great teams. I do have to give it Carmine over Ninjas. And I think it's because Carmine just consistently beats them, has a better playstyle against them, and this would be on Sunday, which is going to be renamed Carmine Core Day very soon if they keep dominating so much on every Sunday. GK, Vitality. I think we get a rematch. I think Vitality has what it takes to win this, but I think it's close. So how do I have Vitality going through here? They lose to Carmine, beat Gentlemates, beat GK to go to the grand final. Carmine, Vitality. I still think these are the 2 strongest, most consistent top teams in EU. I don't think we're going to see these other teams take this grand final spot. So what do we think? Carmine, Vitality. I think this could go game 7. I do think Carmine's still the best team in EU by a good margin. Not quite one team region. It wouldn't be that dramatic in my assessment of them, but I think realistically we're going to see Carmine close out here 4-3 and do very well. Would not be shocked if Gentlemates, Dignitas, Ninjas, or GK are in the grand final. None of these teams would shock me. From this point on, nothing shocks me. The thing that would shock me from the semifinals and above is if any of these 6 teams are not there. If any other team, like 100% or Gentlemates, could make a big run, that would shock me a little bit. So I think that's kind of what I'm going to be cheering for, even though I do like being correct in all my bracket picks. But I think I'm going to cheer for Gentlemates. It'd be cool to see them at Raleigh. So I think I'm going to cheer for Gentlemates. But most of all, I just want to watch good Rocket League. Let me know who you're cheering for, who you think's going to win. Do you think it's Vitality's time to get the open win? Do you think Dignitas are going to beat Ninjas and go to the grand final and get their win? Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Should be some great Rocket League, great events. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.